There was very little margin for error to capture this award-winning, stunning image, muted and reverent, which appeared on the front page of 39 national newspapers. To achieve the unforgettable photo of John McCain's wife Cindy laying her head on the flag-draped coffin of the late senator as he lay in repose during a family service in the Arizona State Capitol Rotunda. Ross Franklin had to dangle from scaffolding atop the Capitol dome and had just seconds to attain this masterpiece. He obviously nailed it. And it all started in Connecticut's northeast corner, while his career has taken him from his family roots in Putnam to Syracuse, London, Buffalo, D.C., and finally Phoenix. Growing up in Putnam still holds many special memories. Eating lunch at Pevner's, summers at Alexander's Lake, Little League at Murphy Park, Henry's Variety, sledding at Kings Hill, to name a few, along with a desire to eventually return and reconnect with friends and places. Several events caused Ross to develop and expand his early interest in photography. As a preteen, he observed Mom carefully frame her Brownie Hawkeye camera to capture a picture of his grandparents, making a camera out of a round oatmeal box and watching in amazement as the image came to life in the developer, and receiving a Fuji 35mm camera as an 8th grade graduation present. In days spent at Putnam High, Ross realized there wasn't much of a future in sports for a slow white guy with average abilities. As a sophomore, his future ambition was to be a journalist, with early contributions to the local Observer-Patriot and the PHS Blue and White Banner. But as his writing skills evolved, his passion for photography grew greater, and the deal was probably sealed when he and Dad built a darkroom in the family basement. A choice he had made between a darkroom or a trip to Disney World. For Ross, it was a tough but obviously appropriate decision. Ross credits his parents, Ruth and Roger, for instilling in him a sense of purpose, sacrifice, and opportunity as they led by example. A sense of curiosity and adventure added as well, which allowed him to pursue his interest. He accepted the challenges and followed those values to a T, as he can now claim a position on the wall alongside Dad, who was installed just 1 year ago, the first father and son combination.
No, I'm very proud of my son. I think if Ruth were here, she'd say the same thing. He was a loving son, and we tried to provide what we could for him growing up, and it was just amazing how he carried that responsibility through to a great career.
His impressive high school resume, including camera work as a sideline photographer at Putnam High School football games, enabled him to be accepted into the prestigious Newhouse School of Journalism at Syracuse University. The photojournalism career gained further momentum while a student at CUSE. His contributions to the Daily Orange newspaper covered everything from guest speakers, Deputy Prime Minister of Israel Abba Eban and Shirley Chisholm, to Syracuse football and basketball games before he landed a position as photo intern at the Buffalo Evening News, and his first significant paycheck was welcomed. It would seem difficult to select a person, place, or thing which Ross has photographed that he might rank ahead of the rest. However, his most interesting photo shoots and the opportunity to spend time with the subject would be Bill Clinton when he was president, Mick Jones of The Clash in a recording studio in London, and George Bush and Muhammad Ali. While participation in athletics ended in high school, the sports scene has not been completely abandoned. Through the years, Ross has been on a first-name basis with golfer Sam Snead and professional footballers Sonny Jurgensen and Sam Huff. When he was first notified of his acceptance to the Wall of Honor, he apologetically informed the committee that he would not be available until his spring training baseball assignment was over. Time limits us from retelling all of his notable experiences. However, these are worth mentioning. Covering the post-Korean War presidential election in 1992, photographing the Pope in Rome, reporting on baseball in Santo Domingo, where he transmitted his photos from a jail cell, experiencing Moscow and Leningrad in the Soviet-Russian days, and seeing the wreckage of old Spanish ships underwater were some that are memorable. But today, the most enjoyable trips are with his wife Erica and son Hunter. He first met Erica in 1984 in Albany on a trip from Syracuse to Putnam. She occasionally visited the Syracuse campus, and they would go to concerts as friends. He labeled her a cool DJ on FM radio, and at the time, out of his league. In 1998, Erica moved to D.C., where Ross was living, and there was a reconnect. Despite having not seen her in 13 years, he was not about to squander this second opportunity. They were married in 2001 in Corfu, Greece, and then Hunter was added to the family.
My father loves music. He listens to 80s music all the time, and so does my mother. And sometimes my parents will just start spontaneously dancing, whether, we're having dinner together or we're, driving on a road trip. And so some of my fondest memories are my parents just being goofy and dancing in the car and singing along and just, enjoying life.
Home is now Phoenix, Arizona, where he's a photojournalist for the Associated Press. An AP photo credit by Ross Franklin has appeared beneath thousands of images published around the world. On the front page of papers of major newspapers, in digital galleries, and in the visual memory of a nation. He has pressed the shutter button millions of times in the past 40-plus years, but admits there are always times when you just miss the moment. A fraction of a second is still all it takes to miss a lifetime shot. But with everything, you must be in the right place at the right time and have camera ready to create the magic. It's something that just can't be taught, but he has had his share of successes. But his career is not yet over. Ross has a desire to cover the Olympic Games, and perhaps the 2028 Games in Los Angeles will be the year of that achievement. And finally, while he came in second in 2003, he would still like to earn the elusive Pulitzer Prize for photography. So many assignments to still accept, and still more outstanding photos for us to enjoy. Some photographers aim for beauty. Ross aims for truth. He informs us, frame by frame, that every person, every protest, every sunrise, and every goodbye has a story worth remembering. Currently, there are 35 plaques of the Wall of Honor, with 5 more being added this evening. Ross Franklin has reminded us that all of those individuals are displayed here because each has a special story of their own that was worth remembering. His story will also certainly be worth remembering on Putnam High's Wall of Honor.